Peace, 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 family. Sister Victoria X here. And for those of you who may be new to my channel, to my Instagram, I am a women's accountability coach. I work with women, specifically mothers and wives, to help them transition into working from home by helping them to set up systems and routines so that they can find their flow between home and business. I truly believe that as women, working from home by helping them I truly believe that as women, we do not have to choose. And so my role and my goal is to help as many women possible to achieve that goal for themselves. So let me see what's going on. Okay, excellent. So here we are, y'all. So today, in the way that we normally do our reading, we're going to do the reading first. Okay, we're going to do the reading first, and then my commentary will come at the end because I know and understand that some of y'all just want to come and hear the word. Okay, y'all don't care about what I gotta say, and so that's what we will do today. We are reading, of course, from the book "How to Eat to Live" by Elijah Muhammad. You can get this book at store.finalcall.com. This is a very, very good book if you are someone that's interested in being intentional about living, you know, because as we learned yesterday inside of this very book, that is something that we are not often taught. We are just expected to know how. And so go ahead and get this book. It's a very good book to read. So I'm gonna set the standard now. I am only reading 15 minutes. So wherever the 15-minute mark stops, that's where we will stop reading. And then I'll do my commentary on the end and we'll wrap this up in a nice pretty bow. Okay. For those of you who are on Instagram, if you would like to watch the replay, no replay on Instagram, you will have to go to my YouTube. If you text read along to 424-306-0585, you'll get the direct link to my YouTube so that you can follow along on YouTube, but there will be no replays shared or saved on Instagram. So yes. Or maybe I'll just do it for the first 24 hours. And then, yes, that's what I'll do. So for the first 24 hours, everyone on Instagram will be able to listen along while I read the book. However, after 24 hours, the replay will be taken down and you will have to go to my YouTube. So if you would like to get notified when I do my read-alongs, text read along, READALONG to 424-306-0585, and we're going to start our reading. So we are starting on chapter 6, fasting today. Okay, fasting. Fasting is a greater cure of our ills, both mental and physical, than all of the drugs of the earth combined into one bottle or a billion bottles. Allah God in the person of Master Farad Muhammad has taught me that fasting with the right kind of food is the cure for our ills. He has said to me that there is no cure in drugs and medicine, and this the world is now learning. We can take medicine all of our lives until it kills us, yet we are still ailing with the same old diseases. The bad the bad foods and drinks that we are putting into our bodies keep us a victim to illness. There are very few nice doctors who like to tell you that drugs are not good for you because they pay for their learning and want to keep practicing. But how to eat to live is what we want to know and have wanted to know all of our lives. All men and women want to know how they can prolong their lives. Nature teaches us to stay here in this life as long as we can. Nature has never taught anyone that he should leave this life and find another one somewhere else because we only have one life. And if this life is destroyed, we would have a hard time trying to get more life. It is impossible. So try to keep this life that you have as long as possible. Go when you cannot stay here any longer. Allah taught me that one meal a day would keep us here for a long time. We would live over 100 years. 100 years. Eating one meal every 2 days would lengthen our lives just that much longer. He said to me that you would never be sick eating one meal every 3 days. The fact that fasting is the cure for 90% of our ills is known by the medical scientists, but they do not teach you that. They know that tobacco, hard whiskey, and alcohol are not good for you and will shorten your life and kill you, but most of them are too weak themselves to stop drinking, smoking, or chewing tobacco. So they do not teach you that tobacco and alcoholic drinks made into what is known as whiskey, beer, and wine are not good for you, although they know it to be true. They will say, yes, it is good for you if you are temperate, But they know that once you get started on that stuff, it is such an enemy that it just takes you into its power. And it is almost like trying to break an iron chain to get away from the habit. So do not use tobacco in any form, and you will live a few years longer. Fast once a month for 3 days, 4 days, or whatever length of time you are able to go without food, without harming yourself, and you will feel good. Did you know that if you would stop eating pig and the food that you should not eat, stop eating three and four times a day, and stop drinking whiskey, beer, and wine, you would save much in the way of money. In prolonging your life by abstaining from the pig, alcoholic drinks, and tobacco, you will also be adding money to your savings by hundreds and thousands of dollars. You will be depriving those pig raisers, tobacco growers, and alcoholic distillers of millions of dollars of which they rob you as they hasten you to your grave. You should stop the tobacco growers from growing that stinking weed by turning away from the use of it, and you could stop the pig raising by not eating the stinking hog. These things are death to your children in their early ages. They even affect the reproductive organs of people in the early ages as well as affect the heart, lungs, and your sharpness in thinking. And after all of this, you die a victim of poison and commercialization. Learn to eat to live. Chapter 7. 1 meal a day. Eat 1 meal a day or 1 meal every other day, and it will prolong your life. Do not think that you will starve. On the contrary, you will be treating yourself to life, and a life filled with sickless days. You can hardly get sick eating this way. I know because I have this experience. If you eat the proper food, which I have given to you from Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom be praised forever, in this book you will hardly ever have a headache. In each in eating once a day or once every other day, you must not eat between meals. You should try you should try to eat at the same hour tomorrow as you eat today. Do not change your meal hours if you can help it. That causes your stomach to react to various hours of the day for a meal and will set up gas on the stomach. Do not even drink juices, milk, or soft drinks between meals. Do not eat candies or fruits between meals. You are welcome to drink water, but I know you will not want too much water between meals since your stomach will not call for it. You may drink coffee between meals, but do not fill your cup with half sugar and half cream and pour coffee on top of that. Smile. Almighty Allah has taught me for you. I have given to you in this book the type of food that you should eat as Allah has given it to me. Again, I say, many vegetables are good to eat, also many fruits. But the vegetables you have been warned against eating, such as collard greens, turnip salads, black eyed peas, field peas, lima beans, butter beans, and soybeans, should not be eaten. Be sure that you do not eat the large sized navy bean. Eat the small sized navy bean. Surely, sugar diabetes can be controlled and driven out with your abstinence from eating sugar and starchy foods. And with your corrected way of eating once a day or once every day, if started in time, you will become negative of sugar in your blood. If you are a victim of sugar diabetes, you should not eat white or sweet potatoes. And even if you are not a victim of diabetes, you should not eat too much of any starch food, such as potatoes, and positively no sweet potatoes. You should be careful of eating this type of food. Chapter 8. Beware of starchy foods and sweets. God Almighty has taught me and many others that we should never eat more than 1 meal a day. That will most certainly heal you of many complaints. Since the American citizens eat since the American citizens eat more meat, sugar, and starchy foods than they should, there is almost an epidemic of too much sugar accumulating in our blood. Eating 1 meal a day, which does not include too much sugar, will keep you healthy, both physically and mentally, if you are a Muslim believer in Allah and the religion of peace, Islam. I warn all you sufferers of diabetes to stop eating starchy foods and sweets until this disease vanishes out of your blood or cannot do you any harm. If you eat once every other day, it is almost a guarantee that you will not be sick. The Orthodox Jews are a people who have lived among us in Asia and they still try to follow Moses' teaching on how to eat to live. The Holy Quran teaches us that we can eat their food and they can eat ours, the Muslims' food, because the two people, Jews and Muslims, try to eat the right food to live. I have learned, and most likely you have too, that it is only a weakness of ours to eat that it is only a weakness of ours to eat constantly. We are only digging our own graves with our appetites and teeth. There is no teaching from anyone, God, you, or me, that will help us if we take our appetites for our guides. Within 1 week, you can get used to eating once a day, and within 1 week, you can get used to eating once every other day. Many of the Muslims are eating like this, and you can eat this way too. Our stomachs are just the way we trained them to be. Get away from those fattening sweet pies 2 or 3 times a day. And do not eat those white potatoes at every meal. They are full of starch. Do not eat fresh bread, and you should never eat white bread because it is the worst bread you can eat and it will shorten your life. In fact, you should not eat too much fattening food. You are not going to get weak. Eat plenty of vegetables and fruit. Eat meat. If so, eat clean, fresh meat, whether it is beef, lamb, or chicken. Do not eat too much of it. Change sometimes and have fish for your meal. Many of our people like to eat young pigeons, squabs, but usually they are a little too expensive. Do not eat too much of anything, good or bad food, and do not eat but once a day. You will soon tell me how much better you feel. Do not smoke or use tobacco in any form or way, and do not eat the pig even if you have to starve to death. Chapter 9: How Allah's Way Prolongs Life. Many are advertising what to eat and what medicines to take to make you eat or stop you from eating. Many books are written and sold on good and bad foods, as well as on reducing the weight and on how to increase the weight, introducing the many chemicals used to bring about the desired result. But Allah, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, has given us a better and safer way to do these things. His way will prolong our lives and do away with our sicknesses. And that way is eating one meal a day. Or if we are able and do not have too much physical work to do, eating one meal every 2 days. This alone will prolong your life. You will not be sick often if you eat once a day and eat the proper food. The proper food is that food which is not poisonous. The slave masters taught us to eat the rough foods, such as field peas, and today, being accustomed to eating them, we still eat them along with sweet potatoes, which are not good for anyone but hogs, and white potatoes, which, since they are so starchy and fattening, are not good for anyone unless they are in a zone where they cannot secure better food. We cannot live a long time if we laden our bodies with fats to burden our hearts and pumping blood through all of this fat. It shortens the time of our heartbeat, and the fat person is, in many instances, more likely to attract sicknesses and disease. Why are we healthier and our lives prolonged by eating as God has taught us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever? It is because of the one Why are we healthier and our lives prolonged by eating as God has taught us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever? It is because of the one meal a day, or fasting. Eating once a day and fasting gives the body time to rest from the previous meal and to absorb it properly and distribute it where the body is calling it. Some of us eat so often and so much at a time that it actually has a tendency to make us small and skinny because we never allow time for the previous meal to digest and distribute the vitamins and proteins into the proper places and throughout our bloodstream. Rest given to the digestive system of our bodies is the thing that prolongs our lives. In this period of rest, 24 hours, the poisons that are ate in the previous meal are not capable of doing us any harm when it is in minor food poison. For the idleness of the stomach destroys this poison that would upset us or shorten our lives to a great extent. Therefore, we live a longer life if we eat correctly and do not eat 3 meals a day. Only one meal a day is sufficient for adults, no matter what their occupation may be. Milk and bread. What wheat bread? Alone, milk and bread, wheat bread will keep us alive indefinitely, and it is the best and the most easiest easily digested food. We have plenty of supplements for milk and bread, so eat them, but eat them only once a day. This will reduce your doctor bill almost 90%. And if you eat once every 2 days, you will not have any doctor bills. So do not tell the doctor that I told you this. Smile. As you know, I contracted bronchial asthma, and I have learned that there are no drugs that the public has access to which actually serve as a cure. But I am doing fine now, and eating once a day and once every other day does not give the mucus time to accumulate and choke the bronchial tubes and tract. All praises are due to Master Fard Muhammad, as it is written of him in the scriptures, that he comes to prolong our lives and to do away with sickness and death. If we live right, he teaches us we will enjoy life for a long, long time. Peace, 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 you guys. And that is the conclusion of our reading today. Today we read chapter 6, 7, and 8. Fasting, 1 meal a day. Beware of starchy foods and sweets. Okay, those are the chapters that we read today. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the commentary portion of the book. Okay, and so if you are just tuning in or you're catching this on a replay, please hashtag replay in the comments. If you would like to get notified when I do come live to do my book readings, which for the month of Ramadan will be every day, inshallah. Walaikum salam. Go ahead and text read along, READALONG, to 424-306-0585. And what is that is going to do is going to allow you to get notified from me whenever I go live to read. Particularly this month, we're striving to read 15 minutes out of the book How to Eat to Live, up until the end of the month. Okay, so book 1 and 2. So, you guys, oh my gosh, this was so good. And for those of you who are observing Ramadan, or you're fasting, or you're trying to do the OMAD, which is really 1 meal a day, as we have been taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad for quite some time, I'm saying. But this is a good reference for you, because he's literally not only telling you that fasting is good for you, he's also telling you how and why fasting is good for you. And so, when they get to breaking down the science of it all, I'm here for it. One thing that particularly stood out for me was when he was saying, in this period of rest, 24 hours, the poisons that we ate in the previous meal are not capable of doing us any harm when it is minor food poisoning. For the idleness of the stomach destroys this poison that would upset us or shorten our lives to a great extent. So when we think about, like, it's almost like, you know what I mean, when you're running, there's only a certain amount of running that you can do before you slow down to a jog, and then only a certain amount of jogging that you can do until you slow down to a walk, right? And so essentially what this is saying is that you're trying to, when we're eating more than one time a day, like we supposed to, they be trying to tell us to eat 3 times a day, and then you got a snack in between, so it's really 6 times a day. Well, 5 times a day, I guess, but because we don't really be snacking either. We be eating during the snack period. So it's that many times a day that we're eating, and our body and our stomach is constantly trying to digest this stuff. And it's not healthy for us. And what it also says here is that when your body does not have the proper time to break down your food, you don't even get the nutrients from even get the nutrients from your food. So if that's the point, if we're eating to live and not eating to feel better, right? Because we're emotional eaters. If we're not eating for taste, right, then the primary goal should be to get the nutrients from whatever it is that we're eating. But this is literally saying that if you're eating all of the time, your body is literally not able to absorb the nutrients that are inside of the food that you're eating. Okay, so the other thing that it was talking about was how the bad foods and drinks that we are putting into our bodies keep us a victim to illness. Like when we think about this whole, vid thing, the most of the people that are having the most trouble with the vid is the people that are having pre-existing conditions. And he kind of went over that in the prior chapters that we read. Catch the replay on the YouTube channel. Okay, it'll definitely be linked at the end of the video. but pre-existing conditions. And how do we get pre-existing conditions? By not properly not eating, not taking the time to rest our stomachs from eating all the time, and not fasting, right? And so when we think about that, it's like you literally have to consider when you're eating stuff, is this helping me or is this hurting me? And if it's hurting you, be completely okay with that. You know what I mean? And I want to say this just up front. I have not mastered how to eat to live. Okay. That's not what it's about. I'm just trying to share the information and to also complete both of the books. That's my goal. I want to share the information, absorb the information, and strive to apply the information. This is not, this is not no lecture. I'm not telling you something that I've mastered. I'm sharing this information with you as I am learning the information as well myself. So let's start there. But when we are eating something, we need to make, is this helping me or hurting me, right? And then be like, okay, I'm okay with the hurt that this finna do. There are times literally where I know that my body adversely reacts to, certain type of foods, or if I'm snacking. And there are times where, sometimes I emotionally eat. Okay. And there are times where like I'm all doing a good day. I done made prayer. The day is going well. I've been super productive. And then I'm like, okay, I want a snack. I want a little chips. And I mentally let myself know that, look, I know that right after this bag of chips, I'm finna crash. And I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with dealing with the consequences that this bag of chips is finna give me, because I want the taste right now, right? But if you are not okay with that, right, then stop eating stuff. And then you're like, oh, I'm tired. I'm sluggish. I don't understand what's going on. It's what you eat. Keep track of what you're eating. I want us to strive to do two things. Well, two things really. I want us to be mindful of what we eat and when we eat, right? That's one. And then two, I want you to be mindful of how your body responds after you eat a thing. Right? Because it will literally tell you how your body is reacting to it. I remember I went to there was this so some of you may not know, but about 2 years ago in 2020, almost 2 years ago, I had I had a severe kidney infection. And it was also a blood infection. And through the course of me getting better and healed, which I need to book my follow-up, sorry. I get hot flashes when I eat something out of line. Yeah, see, Gaisha, you already know the triggers. But through the course of me, having to go to the doctor back and forth, One thing that the doctor actually told me was that if you drink something and it immediately sends you to the bathroom, it probably irritated your kidney. Like it's irritating your kidney, so it's causing you to go to the bathroom. So if you are a coffee drinker and every single time you go to drink the coffee, you got to go straight to the bathroom all the time, more than likely it's irritating your kidneys, right? And y'all can look it up. I'm just telling y'all what the doctor told me. I ain't no doctor. I didn't say Sister Victoria X said this. I said the doctor told me that whenever you are drinking something, if you have to immediately go to the bathroom, it's usually irritating your kidneys. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't like to be irritated. So, check it out. Only somewhere else because we only have one life. Okay, so nature has never taught anyone that he should leave this life and find another one somewhere else because we only have one life. We got one life to live that we know about. Okay, the one we live in. I know we like to, some of us be liking to think that there's a, something after we die, there's something in the clouds, I don't know where we think this heaven is, right? I don't know where, okay? Because I don't believe in the heaven. But for those of us who do believe in the heaven, I don't know where we think it is. But I do know that ain't nobody came back to tell us how it was. Okay. So as far as we know, right? We know, understand, can experience, and can share. There's one life. We only got one life to live. Right? So why do we think that we can just live this life so poorly, right? Not even just live the life so poorly, not live this life at all. I don't know why that came to me, but not live this life at all as if there's going to be another time where we get to come back and do this again. Right? Why we think that we can abandon our assignment that we have been given, like we can just come back and do this again. We get one life that we know about. Right? How Chocolate did that. we got one life that we know about, y'all. So let's be mindful and let's take care of the one life that we have. Okay. Um, and then where did he say this thing at? Because we were talking about this yesterday, when he was talking about, eating the right foods at the right time. And he explicitly says here that eat foods at the right time, but also at the same time, right? At the same time every single day. Right? Because if one day you doing it at 7, the next day you doing it at 5, then you doing it at 8, then you doing it at 3 o'clock, right? You are causing disorder in your body because your body is being trained, right? Where did he say? He said it right here. Let me go to the port. He said our stomachs are just the way we train them to be. So if you want to train yourself to eat properly, you have to train your body to expect food at the right time. But if you all over the place, you always going to be feeling like you're hungry at different times. And that's how it's easy for you to break the fast. That's how it's easy for you to break your commitment to one meal a day, because you eating at different times. Make a commitment to eat at the same time every day, even for those who are nursing. Okay, Taylor, don't get at me. Don't get at me. Don't get at me. Okay. Even for those who are nursing, pick a time. Pick a time, sis. And I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to say this, and Taylor probably going to get at me, because I was a nursing mom. I nursed 4 babies, okay? We ain't hungry all the time. We are not hungry all the time. We are not hungry all the time. We just be mad at the baby for nursing, so we just want to eat some, right? Pick the time that you're going to eat and drink you some water. I promise you, you're more thirsty than you are hungry. Just drink you about a cup of water. And then if after the cup of water you still hungry, then okay, go ahead and take you some eat. But we ain't hungry all the time. Okay. But that was the most powerful thing. One of the powerful things I saw here. Our stomachs are just the way we train them to be. So if you always hungry, that means you always eat. Now that's facts. Now thirsty, that's real, right? If you always hungry, that means you always eating. Let's reflect, family. Let's reflect. Let's do some inner work. Okay. Our stomachs are how we train them to be. Okay, so let's be more intentional and pay attention. He says to fast once a month for 3 days, 4 days, or for whatever length of time you are able to go without food, without harming yourself, and you will feel good without harming yourself. Okay, pay attention to that. A lot of people like to say what the messenger said and then leave the warning parts off. He ain't say just be fasting. He said fast if you are of good health, if you are able to. Okay. He didn't say just go fast and go to 3, 4 and more days without eating. He said, where is it? Without harming yourself. Let's be mindful. If you know that you got a headache and you feel like you might be able to pass out, it's time to break the fast, sis. Stop trying to hold on just to say you did it. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. And we all know, for those of us who have experienced the fast before, there's that time period. For mine is about at like 46 hours, you know what I mean? Like right between 4 and 6 on the second day. That's where my body be trying to trick me into eating again. I already know that because I've been fasting for a little bit. Well, not a little bit, I ain't, but I've been fasting. I fasted before. So I know at that like 40 whatever hour mark, my body's going to try to make me feel like I feel bad, like I'm starving, like I'm barely hanging on, like I gotta. And then after a couple hours, it just go away. Okay. So after you have started to fast, you will start to realize the triggers of your body. You will start to be able to listen to your body much more. Right. One thing that happened to me after I had children was that I am far more connected with my body. So there's certain things that I can feel, certain things that I can experience, and I know what those things are. Right. When you are fasting, it gives you a hypersensitivity and connection to your body, right? So you are able to over time tell if it's really you need to break a fast or you just trying to hold on when you need to break that fast. Okay. So that's good. And one thing I will tell you from someone who has went, what I go like 72, a little bit over 72 hours without food, just water, right? It's like you feel like a superhero for real. It's like nobody can mess with me. Nobody. Okay. Like I'm connected. It's something about that fasting that just make you feel connected to a lot in a whole different way. And then that makes me think that if this makes me feel this good, but when I'm eating too often, it makes me feel the opposite, right? How valuable is fasting if it's going to significantly increase your connection with the creator? I'm just saying. Oh, this part right here, it says that you could stop the tobacco growers from growing it. You could stop the pig people from raising it. You could stop all of this stuff. These things are death to your children in the early ages. They even affect the reproductive organs of people in early ages, as well as affect the heart, lungs, and your sharpness in thinking. Now, this is where I have to talk to the parents, right? Allow children to make their own decision when they're old enough to know the decision that they're making. Oh, that was good. That was good. I'm going to have to catch that on a replay. That was good. Okay. Allow your children to make the decision when they're old enough to know the decision that they are making. Right? So if you know that you're okay with the consequences that you're getting from these pork and these other different type of foods and blah, 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 blah. Okay, make that decision. You grown. But don't pass that on to your children. Right? For me, my children have not had meat a day in their life. Okay. Well, my first daughter did because I was kind of low. And she didn't even really have no meat. She had I'm ashamed to say. You know how the children had the little jars of meat? Oh gosh, she had half a bite and then I swept it out of her mouth and threw the jar away. So she tasted a little bit of meat. Okay, like 7-8 months. Okay, just a little drop. And I was like, oh no, this can't be real. Because who grinding up meat? Like, no, this can't be real. So my oldest had a little drop of meat, okay, if you can call it that. But none of my children have had meat. Why? Because whenever they get to that point, if they decide to make that decision after all the information that we share with them and all the things that they learned, then hey, it's your life. It's your life. Do what you got to do, but not by me. Because we're talking about the long-term effects of some of this stuff. The other thing, and then he also made the distinction. Don't eat the big navy beans, eat the small navy beans. Okay. And then it says that you should not eat too much of anything, good or bad. Let's sit there. Yeah, not under my roof. Well, first of all, under my roof, they can't eat nothing pork. Okay, period. I even dare to say, if you eat it outside of my roof, we got to have a conversation about that, because why is you eating that? Have I not showed you enough? And I had to sit down with myself to say, did you properly inform them about this? Because I can't see a sane person learning about this stuff and then choosing. Okay, so we might have to go a little bit of therapy, because if you know that this hog do all this stuff, we learned in the last chapters that they got the little hole in their foot to drain out all of the pus. Now, why would you want to eat that? Okay. But if they decide to eat like chicken and all that stuff, yeah, they definitely can't do it under my roof, because I don't be cooking no chickens in here. But they can do it on their own. And then, okay, but then he said, do not eat too much of anything, good or bad. Okay? Good or bad. So stop trying. When you teach them, they won't eat it. Exactly. Good or bad, y'all. So stop trying to be like, oh, this is healthy for me, blah blah blah. He said too much of anything. Too much of anything is not good. You're trying to eat at the same hour. There we go. I think we just about covered this one. Oh yeah, I think we just about covered this chapter. Yeah, I think that's it for this particular chapter. So that's going to conclude the commentary portion. We got a little bit of the book done, y'all. So if you are someone, please, I'm telling y'all on Instagram, if you want to catch the replay, you have to go on my YouTube. So go ahead and text read along to 424-306-0585 if you want to get the link to my YouTube so that you can follow along with my replays. Here we go again with this sound going in and out. Y'all good? Can y'all hear me? Give me a couple of hearts if you can hear me, because it's looking like my sound's trying to go in and out. But if you catching this on the replay, if you're on the YouTube, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. There's 2 books already on my page that are fully read. Real Love by Dr. Abel Muhammad, or Is It Naturally Beautiful? I'm getting I'm getting a little shady. Let me just check it real quick. So yes, Real Love by Dr. Avery Muhammad from front to back is completely read on my YouTube channel. Go ahead and check that out below. The Law of Recognition by Mike Murdoch is just about read. Okay, I think I have 3 more chapters that I need to complete of that book. It's completely read on my channel, so go ahead and check the playlist that I have called Read Alongs, so you can find all of those books. I'll also come back and link the end of this very this video to link to the next chapter once we finish there. So I appreciate you all. Text the word to the number, and I'll see you all on the next live. Peace, family. Oh yeah, it is touch screen, isn't it?